we see that Adam and Eve are made differently. Adam's made from the dirt to work the dirt. Eve is made from the man to help the man. Adam, when he receives the curse, his area of productivity is cursed. Namely, he was supposed to shape the world, and now the world pushes back with thorns and thistles. The woman, her area of productivity is cursed. She is supposed to help the man in bearing children and cultivating and all that in the context of the relationship. Now, in childbearing, she'll have pain. Now, the relationship that was supposed to be a beautiful companionship and partnership will be at times a power struggle, right? And so we see that's different. We see you go to something like First Timothy 2, and it's talking about how men and women should behave in a church service. And it talks about men holding up holy hands without wrath and dissension, and women dressing in a modest way. And the reason is men have a tendency to, because of our testosterone, to be angry, to be more aggressive. In women, because of their desire to be beautiful, can make themselves into a spectacle. And so even where Paul is trying to correct them, you see sex-specific sins being dealt with, right? Can a man be immodest? Absolutely can. We'd call it effeminate. It's not normal for a man to make himself into an object of beauty like a woman would. And can a woman be angry? Absolutely. Every man knows this if they're married, right? Of course, a woman can be angry, but most of the violent offenders in the jails of America are men, right? We're just more aggressive. And then you look at some of the warnings to women and to men. You see women constantly warned about gossip and slander, constantly in Scripture. Not in the same way with men, though. Is it because men can't gossip and slander? No, men tend to be more direct. They tend to deal with conflict head on. Women, because they're smaller or not as strong, they tend to deal with it more indirectly through words. Like a guy, if we want to solve a problem, we just go beat the crap out of somebody, right? A woman, she actually can be even more destructive. She'll destroy the person's reputation. Now, if you think about both of those are a corruption of something good. A guy's strength is meant for building, not destruction. Yet, he can take it and use it that way. A woman's linguistic abilities, her ability to communicate, to network people together, to cultivate relationships like she would in the practice of hospitality, in the raising of kids, and working hand to hand with her husband, that can be twisted into slander and gossip, to using the words to destroy relationships instead of build it. And so you see all these things assumed all throughout Scripture. And some people say, well, that's not in the Confessions. Well, the Confessions were written before we totally lost our mind on this issue, right? So you're talking this 1600s, 1700s. And even there, though, you do see them. You see them in like the Westminster Larger Catechism's exposition of the Sixth Commandment. You're going to see it there. You're going to see it in any part that talks about the importance of bodily realities. So anything on the resurrection. And so biblical manhood, biblical sexuality, it has everything to do with understanding the gospel, Jesus the Son reconciling us to God the Father. It has to do with Adam and Eve falling. It has everything to do with sanctification. It's the whole thing. So, but we dealt with it, at least me and my co-author Nan, when we wrote the book It's Good to Be a Man, and we did a podcast for 75 episodes. We were thinking about it in a much more practical way, like in terms of like how a man lives out his masculinity in a God honoring way. And we think that comes down to focusing on wisdom, strength, and workmanship would be the things that we would emphasize. That a man is to become wise for the good of others. He's to use his strength for the good of others, and he's to shape the world again for the good of others, all underneath the umbrella of the glory of God.